rallyfm.net.
Just continuing the rallyfm.net podcasts from the welcome party at Sol Rally Barbados. I'm lucky enough to have with me the winner of last year's event, fully kitted out in his Peugeot UK shirt, because Kris Meeke, the first question I should ask you is, how on earth do you get permission from Peugeot UK to come and drive someone else's car in the middle of your IRC campaign?
It's obviously it's an event I have fond memories of last year. I was very, very keen to do this year, and if I'm going to be brutal about this, I think the underlying fact is I'm not getting paid by Peugeot UK, so until they pay me to stay at home, I feel free to do what I want in between. But obviously I don't want to upset anything that Peugeot UK, they're putting in a very big commitment to me this year, and you know, things have been going very well, so you know, as long as we come here, obviously we're in the Peugeot UK gear, we're promoting, we're not driving for another manufacturer, we're not promoting another manufacturer.
Yes, because that was what struck me. You won the Rally of the Azores, what, 3 weeks ago or so. You're the first person to win 2 IRC rounds this year. So you were halfway across the Atlantic. Then you flew all the way home, and you've now come all the way back over. I mean, you could have just swum over from the Azores, really, or isn't the swimming good?
I have to say, no matter whether I ride home one night and had to fly the next morning to Barbados, it wouldn't bother me. This place is just fascinating, and to be honest, this year obviously I have a big commitment with the IRC. It's probably the biggest opportunity in my career. I have to thank Peugeot UK and all the people in Peugeot that have supported me to get to the position I'm in, but I knew I had a gap in the calendar this time of year. Rally Barbados was happening again. I knew the guys were very keen to have me back and try and compete, and you know, we're reigning champion from Rally Barbados and try and come back. So now there was one question mark in my head: do I need to go and do it again while competing in the IRC?
How long did this question mark last?
Probably less than half a second.
That long? A nanosecond question mark.
So I tell you, as soon as I arrived off the plane here last week and experienced the hospitality for less than 1 hour, I just said, look, why did I even question it? This place is just, it's a fulfillment of everything you expect from hospitality and everything. So I have to say, it's an incredible experience.
Now, you've got a bit of an affinity. You're driving a Subaru WRC S9 here. You've got a bit of an affinity with Subarus. Your first overall rally win came in a Subaru on the Galloway Hills way, way back. Your first ever proper World Rally Championship event, I remember I was commentating that year, was Wales Rally GB, and you were fighting with, you know, proper chaps like Miggins and Diggins and all of those fellows for top Brits that year. So Subaru is something that you understand. You've driven this car last weekend, gearbox problem at Selby Power King of the Hill, so not the best way to start.
It wasn't the best way to start. Obviously the guys have put a lot of effort together, and you know, Roger Skeets bought a new car this year. The guy Jack Slater, who's traded the car in against it, has put up the car for rent for the event, and we have managed to secure a deal between Digicel and Red Bull, Armag and all the sponsors of the team to secure the car for the event. So unfortunately we had a clutch problem at the King of the Hill last weekend, and it wasn't so much a problem with the clutch, it was we tried to solve it, and the spare clutch hit and gave a problem, but for sure it's a mechanical problem. We'll get it sorted for this weekend, and okay, it was a disappointment for King and Hill, but the main event this week is Rally Barbados.
There's you. There's Roger Skeets, who's now got the S12, which is the old Jack Slater car, and obviously prior to that a Peter Solberg car. You've got people like Roger Hill, who's driving the car you won the event in last year. Trevor Manning, who's got this fantastic, amazing brand new Shell. Oh, okay, a much older technology Escort World Rally car. Perez, Birdie with an 07 Focus. I'm not going to sort of ask you to predict who's going to win. Actually, I could do, and you're allowed to vote for yourself. But is it one of the most competitive events you've been in? Sorry, the most competitive, quirky events you've been in?
I think that's the right term. Rally Barbados is something completely unique, and I said to my girlfriend tonight on the phone, even on the way back from the boatyard today, you can't really explain it. You have to be here, and she got annoyed with me.
Excuse me. When you were talking to your girlfriend on the phone, do I therefore understand your girlfriend is about 4,000 miles away?
She's 4,500 miles away, and
is she your... Sorry, I don't want to be personal. Is like a sort of live-in girlfriend, so she's feeding the cats and that sort of thing?
It's getting near that stage, which is quite scary, but to be honest, and she's getting annoyed with the fact that I keep saying you have to come here to experience. I can't explain it to you, and she said, what are you trying to hide? I said, I'm not hiding nothing. I offered her the chance to come here and she didn't take it, and honestly, I will bring her back here before the end of the year. It's just, honestly, it's just an incredible place. But getting back to your original question, this place is just phenomenal. I'd say it is a unique event, and everyone has to come and experience it at least once. And I'll guarantee you, if you come and experience it once, you'll be a hook. But the competition this year is just phenomenal. Whether what we done last year has enticed everybody to come back with better machinery this year, what it obviously has done. Mr. Skeet has went and bought, dare we call it, the $1 million rally car, and Paul Bird is back with the 07 Focus.
Flown in.
God
knows how much that cost.
So we know Paul Bird was very competitive on the Sunday stages last year, and he'll go very well this year. So yes, we're in an S9 Subaru. I do believe the S9 is a step up from the Corolla what we drove last year, but honestly, I think I'm going to struggle. And
struggling.
In my own defence, we don't do struggling, and on this event, it's never simple. But I would honestly say, would anyone ask Sebastian Loeb to come here to do a local event in an S9 Subaru against somebody in S12s and on the 07 Focus?
I think we'd be having trouble with Sebastian Loeb finishing 9th. I mean, that might be very embarrassing. So, one more quick thought. How do you feel about the overall sort of organisation of the event? I mean, you've done rallies the world over. Where do you see the Barbados Rally Club as a sort of putting an event together with?
The guy's just doing an incredible job on it. Running these World Rally cars isn't cheap. Obviously, there's guys here on the island that can afford to run them, but with Paul Bourne, he looks at a fantastic sponsorship through Banks and Virgin Airways on the car. Roger Skeet with the Costa Mannings. The money's here to promote it, and I think the only reason why the money's here to promote it because of the general enthusiasm from the public. And as I said before, in relation to my girlfriend and another topic, you can't describe it. When you arrive at a corner and you have 10,000 people, and when you can hear the sound of the people,
and you're aware of that in the car.
When you can hear it like a football match inside the rally car, it's just a surreal experience.
And that's different to Europe.
You don't experience
Ireland,
England. Experience it in World Championship. If I was speaking to Sebastian Loeb tomorrow morning, I'd recommend it to him. But as I say, it's a unique experience, and the organisers deserve a big pat on the back, because they've taken an event which probably was very much an amateur event some years ago to something now which is truly global. With the internet and everything, it's been promoted all around the world. And I know from my experience last year in Ireland, it's just the guys are just on the internet just talking about Rally Barbados this, Rally Barbados that. And to be honest, I fear for the organisers in years to come, because I think it could become something pretty special. But they're doing an incredible job, and the one thing I would say to them is do not lose the important ingredient, which is having the fun.
This is fun bit. Kris Meeke, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
rallyfm.net